we do really benefit in a lot of ways from the fact that he's a handsome young man with dimples. The dimples are the key.
I think the biggest thing is to be great at the little things.
How's it going, guys? And welcome to Secrets to Silent Success. Today we have Juan and Brent Reaves of Smokey John's Barbecue. How y'all doing this morning?
We're great.
Man, happy to be here.
Good. We got good meats, good sides, and good vibes, right?
Every day.
That's how we do it.
Every day. So your father Smokey started Smokey John's over 40 years ago. Tell me a little bit about you all childhood, just growing up in the restaurant.
Well, it was kind of like growing up around a celebrity because Dad was a larger-than-life character. He had a bunch of businesses. He eventually got into the restaurant business, and he was just very well known. Never met a stranger. Just loved on everybody. So it was kind of a whirlwind at times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like growing up with a superstar. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, like Dad would go and everybody knew him, like from politicians to constables to, the produce dude at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Smokey, I got those bananas for you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, dude, what, but he knew everybody, and that just, makes you feel good and like have pride as a kid. Man, my dad's pretty cool, and even in going through high school, all the girls like my dad, they didn't want me.
Wow.
It was just tough, man. It was tough.
I look like my dad.
You know what I'm saying? It was tough, man.
Yeah.
No, he's definitely that guy that when he entered a room, he owned the room. Even when he was around other famous people, he just held his own and not in an arrogant way. Just he really made people feel special, and he pays attention. So it didn't matter if you were cleaning his table at a restaurant or he met you in the elevator. He was dialed in to you for that bit of time, and I think that was one of his gifts, is making people feel special.
Gotcha. So you talked about your dad being a serial entrepreneur. You talked about him making each individual feel special no matter what they were doing or who they were. What are some other things that you all's father taught you about entrepreneurship?
Taught us how to hustle.
There you go.
Like straight up, he taught us how to hustle.
He taught us eat what you kill.
Oh yeah,
eat what you kill. There you go. Yeah.
That's how it is as being an entrepreneur. I mean, one of the lessons that we took from him, we learned that actually helped us get through COVID.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
We were doing an event, and this was probably about 8-9 years ago, and he actually came to this event. So we're selling food, and no one is coming to get our food. Like nobody's even.
Event, we're not selling
at all. We're not selling.
Okay.
And Dad's like, hey, let's just cut some ribs up and just take them out to the crowd and just give them away. I was like, man, why are you gonna give away the food? He's like, just give it away. Just trust us. So okay, so we give the food away. People start tasting it. All of a sudden, we start getting this line.
And where'd you get that? How did that come from? How much is that?
Yeah.
It's a simple idea, simple.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter, in the middle of this event where we didn't think of that, his mind was always working, his mind's on the hustle. So then COVID comes around.
Yeah.
And we started doing this Facebook Live to connect to our people, let them know we're still here, we're open, we're with you, we're all battling this together. And then, business was slow because, no one understood exactly what essential businesses were.
Yeah.
So as a result, it was like, we've got to let people know we're here. But then Brent came up with the idea. He was like, we know one thing, everyone's at home. And being in the area that we're in, where we're near UT Southwestern, we're near Southwest Airlines, where a lot of the large businesses where people were drawn from all over the Metroplex, we know they come for lunch here. A lot of times they're like, hey, we don't come on the weekends because we don't live close. Sure. And so Brent came up with the ideas. We know they're at home. So we started a neighborhood delivery program, and it was really inspired by the idea of Dad. It's like, hey, when you're in a situation, how do you adapt to make it, to really put things in your favor? And we did that, and it really helped sustain us in the early days of the pandemic.
We realized it was time to go back out into the crowd again.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's really what it was.
It's the same analogy. Take it to them first, and then they'll come back to you.
That's right.
Yeah, so it was great. We would we'd say, hey, if you order today by 4 o'clock, we'll deliver in your neighborhood from 2 to 4 the following day. So we broke out the Metroplex and the regions. Yeah. We ended up having to add one because people were like, hey, when are you going to come to our side of town? We're like, we didn't realize we had a good following in that area. Yep. And it turns out that we were In a couple areas, we killed it.
Sure.
And other ones we did really well. And also, it's kind of a little bit of market research for us because now we know where we have a base of a following in the Metroplex outside of this general area.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like adaptability and adjusting. Tell me about the importance of that in entrepreneurship. If you're too rigid, you will get left behind. It sounds like you all were like, okay, what can we do? Let's adjust, let's be innovative and adapt. What's the importance of that in entrepreneurship?
It's survival.
Yeah.
I mean, it's truly survival. If you don't adapt to the circumstances and the environment, then you will lose. I mean, think about it. It's nature. It's what happens. It's survival of the fittest.
There you go.
And I think you've seen, and we talked about this. The people that survived the pandemic were going to come out of it stronger because they've learned some new things, and we've learned how to be better at takeout. And we got some hard lessons, but it's been beneficial to us. And now, as we just think about growing our business, it's affected how we want to build subsequent stores to really accommodate that.
Gotcha.
You know, the truth of the thing is that creativity can be your way out, you know, and I think creativity opens the doors for so many other opportunities. And I think what happens to most businesses and most owners, they get so in the weeds and they get so tied into the day-to-day that they lose touch of creativity, and their brand doesn't evolve, doesn't grow, doesn't change, and it just gets stagnant. And if it gets stagnant, then nobody else cares.
Absolutely, yeah, because you all have taken the brand and taken it to a new level. You talk about with media, with branding, TV shows. What has you all's methodology and thought process and mindset been to take the brand to the next level?
So our thought is get in front of as many faces as possible. You know, and that's what social media has allowed us to do that. Just getting involved in any type of media, if it's for us, if it's TV shows, if it's game shows, you know, the State Fair of Texas has been a great opportunity for us to show our creativity through the crazy dishes that we're able to create. Well, that gets before the eyes of hundreds of thousands of people. So for us, any way that we can get in front of people to show them what we do, we take that chance.
So you talked about getting in front of many eyes as possible. You talked about the State Fair. That's about as many eyes as you can get. Tell me a little bit about what goes into being a vendor at the State Fair. How are you doing that and running your business here? Like, how does that look?
A lot goes into it.
It looks kind of crazy at times.
Right. So we actually start preparing for the fair. Generally, we start around August or July, August. This year, we've made a decision. We started actually in January.
Wow.
We've already started. Yeah.
We have our first meeting with managers this week. We've never done this before, but we realized that the fair has always been a big part of our business.
Yes.
But we never approached it the way we're approaching it this year. And it's like we take it seriously, it's very important, but we kind of compartmentalize it into the season.
Sure.
And it's kind of like in sports where there's really no off season.
Yeah.
We've taken that approach to the fair.
Gotcha.
So we're actually strategizing more from how we're going to structurally run the fair, but we'll also start working on our creative ideas for the Big Tech's Choice Awards, and we're hitting it where it's not a seasonal business for us anymore. It's part of our annual business.
We've been blessed to have a really good team as well. I mean, for the State Fair alone, we have between 90 and 125 team members that actually work at the fair. And that's just the fair.
Just the fair.
That's seasonal work.
Wow.
So that's
just the fair. And so at the same time that's happening, we still have our 28 to 32 team members that run the restaurant, because we also do catering all over DFW. So we still are running a restaurant, running the catering, and then the fair is its own beast that's taking place at the same time.
And then we typically, the way the fairs, I mean, they're just constantly talking about evolving and adapting. They've grown so much.
Yeah.
One of the things that they have large groups that have events at the fair, and you think everyone's going there for food, but sometimes there's catering opportunities. So we actually will. So we've had days where we're catering 2 or 3 events at the fair's going on, and we got the restaurant going. So.
Gotcha. You just named a lot of people, right? Yes. What is the management style? How do you manage that number of people? I've learned in entrepreneurship and in business, that's probably one of your toughest things, people, right? And managing people. What are you all's methodology to managing people?
Well, part of it is you got to care about them. I mean, we genuinely want the best for our people. So that's why we're meeting now with our managers, because we've tried to, like Brent said, we've got some good folks that we really like, And so we're trying to train them up so they can be prepared to deal with it, because it's seasonal. So some people are just here for the paycheck, and we get it.
Sure.
But we want that experience to be more than just the paycheck, because it's also for us a recruiting ground for our restaurant. So was it 3, 4 of our? We probably have half our team members of today were fair employees first, and that's a change. But that's because we put more effort into how we recruit and how we kind of nurture that process so that we can use it kind of as a little a test run to see if they might be a good fit for the restaurant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think one of the other things that we've done is been able to try to empower our team members, those that have been with us for quite a while. We created some new positions this last year, and that's really allowed us to actually get a little bit more freedom, a little bit more. But still just being able to empower these guys to be able to use their gifts, their talents, to be able to help lead, manage, and we've seen some amazing gifts come out of some of these guys, in the process, which is great for us.
Yeah, I remember early in my career before I got in the restaurant business, I did sports marketing. And I remember I had a job as an event director. Or I was an event director, I was part of the staff, and then I became a director. And then I wasn't great at it. I was good at it, but I wasn't great. But one of the things I learned is sometimes when you get into the management side, you understand it, and you can get people who execute it better than you. That's a good thing. And I think what we have done is try to see which of our folks can really be, they might be good at this role, but they might even be better if we give them these responsibilities because of their style or their tendencies, and then we can help them augment the other areas. And I think so. Really, for us, it's been really development. It's team member development that we've tried to offer that, and it's so far it's working well.
Got you. So I also know this is a family-run business through and through. You're talking about in the beginning, your mom's doing the bookkeeping, your cousin's on the pit. Yeah. Obviously, still very family-run here. Right. Tell me about it being a family-owned business. What is that dynamic like?
People ask us a lot because we're brothers if we fight. And first of all, I'm older, so there wasn't a rivalry when we were growing up because I was so much older. It was like, here's Brent, my little brother.
You're helping raise him pretty much.
He was stronger too. so much stronger.
I was. Yeah. Then once he went to college, I wasn't stronger, but by then we'd already established how the rules work. So
fear was already set in. It had already set in.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So we get along great. We're not exactly the same, but our hearts are the same, right? In that we want what's best for the company. There's not a lot of ego, so it's not do it my way or your way. It's more let's do it the right way. And if he feels strongly about something and I feel strongly about something, we talk it through, and then we kind of let common sense play out. And I think we're fortunate because not everybody has that relationship, and we recognize that. And then I think we created a familial atmosphere. So our team members are we have a new team member that's only been here a few months, and she was like, I feel like y'all are family, and that's what we try to create that environment, because that's what we grew up in. It was our parents that were running the store. Our cousin was the pit master for many years. A lot of people that worked for the fair were cousins and family members that would help us out. So it's always been a family. The one thing is our family's not that big.
Yeah.
So what we've had to do is recruit.
You've exhausted all the family resources.
We've tapped into them pretty well. So it's like that's why I think it's important for us to create that familial atmosphere, because the reality of it is a lot of people they're not close to their family, so they come here and they feel it's a void that they were missing at home. And so if work can be that's a great experience, and it's beneficial for everyone.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we think is our competitive advantage, is that a lot of people don't feel seen, and one of our hopes is that they actually come here and they feel seen. They feel like a sense of belonging. People want to be a part of something, and they definitely want to be a part of something that's growing. Right. So, our goal is to help you see your place with us. Right. And when people see themselves, as a part of your vision, man, they're in. So that's really what we try to do.
What advice would you give to another entrepreneur? A lot of times when you're first starting out, you want to be so different. How can I stand out? How can I be different? And sometimes it's just about, hey, it's a million people who do barbecues, a million people who do media production, but it's about, hey, what's your customer service like? What is your team building and development like? What can you tell someone who may be in like a Me Too industry? How can they stand out?
I think the biggest thing is to be great at the little things, like the basic things, you know. So one of the things for us that's big for us in catering business is be on time. You know,
be on time.
Oh,
be on time.
Be on time.
Okay.
Be on time. And is the food hot?
Yeah.
You know,
Little things like that make a
little
difference.
things make a difference. And what we've learned is someone will choose one caterer over the other just because the food's hot and it's on time. Doesn't mean the food's great, but there's a level of comfort that you give the person that's putting together the event that knows, hey, that caterer is going to be there on time, the food's going to be hot, and I don't have anything to worry about. You know, so it's the little things I think that some people miss. They can be very artistic, very creative,
Very talented.
but you don't follow up on phone calls. You're not on time. And it's the key professional things that we all have to do in order to that really actually makes you stand apart from a lot of other people.
I 100% agree with that because we've seen it. I also think you need to know your why. Why are you doing this? What is it? You know, I always, you know, you'll hear people say, "Oh, she's a great cook. She should own a restaurant." No, if she's a great cook, she should be a great cook. Doesn't make her a restaurant owner. Now, some cooks can turn into great restaurant owners, just like some doctors are not great. They don't run clinics. They're good at the hospital, but they're not good at the business side of it. I think you have to know your why. And if you're a great cook, maybe you want to find a business partner who knows the business side and wants to run that. And really, what is going to be your point of difference? Is it going to be that you're special at the details? Are you great quality? Are you offering something different? But to me, the why is going to drive you, and it's going to help build your team and your philosophy that's going to allow you to have success.
Gotcha. Tell me a little bit about you all's why. I know legacy, equity, passing down that from generation to generation is big. Tell me about your why.
Well, our mission statement is to nourish the community through the joy of food, the strength of faith, and the spirit of family. That's our why. That's what we come here today. We drill it into our team members. We offer bonuses sometimes. You get $20 if you can say the mission statement. That's what we're about. And so that's kind of I think what we figured out when we created that mission statement is really the essence of what our dad was about in words. And so that's our why. We feel like if we do those three things, people enjoy the food, and we can use our faith to really battle through the life. And it's not just what happens at work, it's your whole personal life. And then you create that spirit of family where you want to do it together and you want us to be supportive. And if it works inside the building with us, it also connects with our customers.
Yeah, you know what's one of the coolest things to see is to see how people react to good food. Like just the reaction to quality food is just remarkable to me, because you can actually take someone back in time.
Absolutely.
By just the right bite of food,
The
right?
trick,
Like you can
that memory.
There's if I say to you, Mike, I say pizza. Like pizza make you think of something specific as a kid, you know, and then the right bite makes you go, oh my God, my 7th birthday party. So we've had a person that came in, and several people have had this happen. They tasted our yams, and that's our grandmother's recipe. And we had a guy that was here actually eating and just in tears. And we go to the guy and was like, man, what, are you all right? Everything good? And he's like, I'm good. I just, like these yams, this is like my grandmother's recipe. It's like I'm back at her house. That's why we do it, right? Like we want you to have that experience, that connection back to the past. Our family means so much to us, our grandparents and our dad, our mom, and just all of our family. They mean so much that we infuse that same love, that same energy into the food. And hopefully when people taste it and they experience that, it actually creates some level of freedom, we think food has the ability to do that.
Yeah. What advice would you give to an aspiring entrepreneur who's looking for that why?
sit down with someone that you trust and talk to them about what your goals are. And then when you create your plan of how you're going to get there, usually that process is going to require some commitment. And that's where you need to understand the level of commitment that it's going to require. Yeah. And as you do that, it's going to just, I always think it determines if it makes sense for you to move forward. And I think, it's interesting. I hear people, they always want to encourage people to be business owners. You should own your own business. You should do it yourself. And I think that's great. And we need, this country's built on small businesses that, become medium-sized businesses that grow and pass down to next generations. But at the same time, if that's not your gifting, there's nothing wrong with being a part of a team that's doing that, and you're on that part of that group and helping that process grow. Because look at us. It's only two of us. We can't do everything. We have to have team members, and we're happy if we're a stepping stone for our team members to learn some things and move on to the next opportunity. But it's a great feeling when they want to be a part of it. Like Brent says, they catch the vision and they want to join it. So I think it's really important to sit down, to have a group of trusted advisors to really help you hammer it out and give you some wisdom.
Gotcha. I know in a Dallas Express article, you talked about being a business owner and running a business that taught you a lot about your personal growth and development. Can you talk to me about that?
Oh, yeah. I think it's directly linked. Whatever my personal weaknesses, deficiencies, they showed up in business. And in order to evolve personally, in order to evolve as a business owner, I had to develop as a person. There was a lot of things that I felt like, it's things I knew, but like one of the things that what you were asking about with entrepreneurs, one of the other things is if you're good at something, that's great, right? But you might need to train. Sure. You might need to learn some more. You might need to study. You may need to take some classes. And that's one of the things that I realized, like we got to a point in our company where it's like, okay, we're growing, but it's like, man, there's a lot of stuff that I don't feel like I know. I wasn't really understanding our financials the way I needed to. And so, well, we both took some different courses in order to learn more and educate ourselves on really how to understand our business and be better business owners in the first place.
Right.
But I think the biggest thing is you got to be self-aware, right?
Yeah.
You got to be like really honest with yourself of what you don't know. And a lot of people try to fake it. It's like, right. Oh no, I got it. It's like, okay, great. And then you lose a lot of money.
Sure.
And you realize you don't have it, right? So it's like you have to be self-aware and see where your deficiencies are and take steps to overcome those.
I think too, it's like what Brent's describing is one of our, so we have, I told you the mission statement, we have 7 core values. Okay. Probably number 1 on our list is humility. And you've kind of to humble yourself to recognize what you don't know and be willing to go find out that information, which means you've got to share with someone else that you didn't know it. That's why you're trying to find out this information. And I think that's hard. Especially when you're an entrepreneur, you're starting your own business, you're kind of it, and everything falls back on you, then you don't want to let people know that you don't know something, and the natural tendency. And I think that's the worst place you can be, because then you're gonna find yourself at some point in a bind because of the deficiency of knowledge. And so, Brent did a great job. He did a program, I did a program where he's constantly reading and learning, and we're continuing education happens for other careers, and it should happen in whatever business that you're doing. I'm sure in your guys' business, there's always new things to learn, and there's a lot of technology to learn about, or technique. And I think one of the things that you've got to, and we're fortunate that there's 2 of us, so that we can, if he needs to go to do something, then I can cover. But it's important that you have continuing education, and like Brent said, be self-aware to know that that's going to help you.
Gotcha. You talked about the continuing education and the programs you all have taken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you all created like a program for your employees as well, correct? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Juan actually started this program called Dare to Dream, and it's just helping these guys develop goals and the steps to be able to accomplish those goals. And that was just something that's been on his heart for a long time, and we really went forward and moved in that direction, and he's seen some really cool things come from that.
Yeah, we've had some. It's one of those things where we're very fortunate, right? My first job out of college, I traveled around the U.S., and then the second year I traveled around the world. I lived in Europe. I traveled a lot, and so I've seen a lot of different things. And I lived in the Northeast, and then I came back to Dallas, and when I started working for our family, I would talk about, hey, I did this, or I went here this weekend, I did, and I would, there's no one that could relate to that because our people were just trying to make it to the weekend. And they were just trying to see if they could get their next drink or meal or whatever. And it just really hurt me because it's like, there's so much outside of your neighborhood.
Exposure.
Exposure-wise.
Yeah.
And so, and for whatever reason, I started saying just in general, like, hey, dare to dream was like a little catchphrase for me. And so we talked about it and we decided, hey, what if we tried to set something up for these guys to just explore more of life and figure out what did it, because that's how you figure out what your calling is, right? And so we put together a program, sit down with everyone and say, hey, like, what is it that, I asked them some questions to get them thinking, shared some inspirational phrases and encouraging words, and then we just kind of talked about what is it that you've always dreamed of, and what's that one thing that you thought you could never do or wanted to do and now you feel like you can never do. And it was really interesting to see people open up and start sharing. And so then we offered an opportunity to, hey, sit down with them and set some goals and how can we do that? Because we had a lady that never left the state. So we sat down and talked about how she could save money. Where did she want to go? What do you want to go? Well, let's research what that costs, how much you make, and how do we put that money aside. And just because what happens is I think people see some of these ideas that some people take for granted, but it's a big, big deal for them, and it's a big challenge, and they don't know where to start. And so we try to put some things in place.
That's awesome. I got two thoughts. The first thing is, what's the importance of goals? I know you talked about sometimes they seem so big, but you have to break them down into action item steps. So talk to me a little bit about the importance of goals. And then the second thing is, we're talking about your all business, but I've heard the word barbecue like twice. It's so much, seriously, it's so much about people and development and all these things that go into the business that's not about, we're not talking about recipes, we're not talking about sauces or sides, we're talking about people. So again, goals, breaking it down, the importance of that, and then when it comes to business, like I said, we're talking about everything that's not barbecue.
That's funny. So goals are really important because it just gives you something to aim at, right? Sure. What the saying is, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's the key to goals. It's like it focuses you. It'll help you focus on exactly what it is that you want to do, and then it helps you prioritize what's really important to you. Like what is it that we want to accomplish? And we've done it at the beginning of our year for this year, and it really helps put in order some other things that come our way that we're like, maybe we don't need to do that. Maybe we don't need a food truck this year, because we have some other goals. But the goals help keep us in line and keep us focused on what it is that we're saying we want to accomplish.
And I think from the business side, reality is, our dad really gave us a great foundation. So over the years, we've tweaked a few recipes. Our culinary expert is Brent. We've tweaked a few recipes, we've worked some things out, and we think we feel confident that we are serving a good product. We are constantly looking for opportunities to be better and smarter and more efficient and maintaining the quality. So it's really what we've tried to build is, we're building a system where the team members are able to execute the recipes, they're able to cook, and we're teaching them to do it the way we want it done with an eye on, our job is to really, if we've given them the information to run our store, to create the product the way we would do it, then our job is to serve them. And so that's why our focus in any good business, any really successful business, it's usually when the employees are happy, the business is successful. And I think that's kind of our motivation is, it's two parts. It's like we always say, we know we're doing well if our team is doing well. And that's kind of how we measure our success. It's not about how much money we can make for ourselves. Of course, we want to be successful, we want to make money, we want to do, but we also know that if we're taking care of those guys, then they're going to help take care of us, and then everybody wins.
Got it. So this is Secrets to Silent Success. So tell me you all secret to success.
I think our secret to success is our
The dimples.
It's not that. It's definitely not it.
It's not the dimples?
It's definitely not that. It really is just our heart to provide quality to others, you know, and it's quality in every area, quality service, and really a quality experience. And I think that's our heart. We really want to do that in everything that we do.
We'll leave it there. I appreciate it.
You nailed it. I mean, what do I add to that? The only thing I would add to that is that we do really benefit in a lot of ways from the fact that he's a handsome young man with dimples. The dimples are the key.
Micah,
So
This is where it's bull.
I don't think we can ignore that. I mean, that's a big part of our business. So.